Mhm. All right, hey YouTube. You know, I want to talk about mental toughness. I want to talk about that fight you got inside here when you're dealing with pain, when you're dealing with suffering, when you're dealing with hardship. Okay, when you got that, I guess I could call it a rational voice telling you, maybe what you ought to do is you ought to just calm down and you ought to back up. You ought to go take a break. You ought to just, take it easy. But you got that other motherfucker in there, that masochist, that you got to toughen up. You got to man up. Fuck your whining. Who cares how hard it is? Are you dying? And if you are, can you find a way to live? Do you got that toughness to just suck it up? Okay. Last week, Sunday, I came down with a sinus cold, aches, fever, coughing. It was just tired and worn out. And yeah, I was at home. So let's see, what did I do on Sunday? I don't know that I really did anything. I did a few things. I had some work to do, but I didn't really do anything, mainly because I had to rest up because Monday I was going to go to work and Monday was going to be hell and Monday was hell and Tuesday was hell and Wednesday was hell. I work in an aluminum foundry. I have the hardest job there. Now, there are other people that do this, but I'm the one that gets the most work out. I can get between 180 to 200%, and that's grinding castings, that's standing at a machine, grinding castings, and then you go over to your table and you do Dremel tool and you clean up all the cracks and the hunks and shit like that. So I knew it was going to be tough because the job I was on was a 29-pound job. And yeah, there was one of those where it's like, oh, fuck. Because I did not feel like going outside and getting in my truck. I was just fucking wiped. But I thought, you've done this before. And the only way that you toughen up and you stay tough is by doing that hard shit that just wants to break you the fuck down. Because I'm thinking about me coming out the other end, where here I am now on the other end, and I feel great. Okay, I still have it. Okay, I still have to deal with some of it because it ain't totally gone. I always have sinus problems. This side of my head here is stuffed to some level. It's just I can't barely hear out of this ear sometimes because of it, because all of this shit's connected. But I always have that. But when I got a sinus cold, and I had respiratory to where over here in my lung, I had like a little twinge of pain every now and then, which that was like, I was like, I don't know what that is, but oh well. But there I stood at my machine Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And I think Monday it was 94, when Tuesday it was 95, and Wednesday it was 96. And it's always 10 degrees hotter inside than it's outside. So 104, 105, 106 plus, okay. Now, I they have a light above me. Now they have a few lights, but they have these round lights, and I thought they were LED. You ought to feel the heat coming off that light. Now I want to get one of them because I have a well and I need a bulb that throws heat. Well, this friggin' bulb throws heat. Plus, sometimes the pouring deck, all that heat suddenly will come up. Then you got the humidity wrapping around you, and it was friggin' hell. I mean, my I called him the little pansy voice, was going, maybe you ought to, because they came around a few times and said, hey, you want to get off this job? All 3 days. And I'm like, nope. And I wanted to go, yes, I'd love to get off this job. But I'm like, fuck you, Kramer. Okay, you bitch. 29 pounds. I did between 200 and 300 castings in those 3 days. And what pissed me off was Wednesday, toward the end of the day, I got a skid and it was around 42, 43 castings on it. And it was a different side. There's two sides. There's a 51 and a 52. I was doing the 51, then I got the 52. And the quality on that was shit. I mean, it was so frustrating that I thought I'm going to finish this. And I did. I finished it by the end of the day. And that was a friggin' grind. And I called him over. I said, "That's it." I said the quality on this damn job is just too friggin' horrible. Let those other guys do it because they're not on piece rate. I'm on piece rate, which means I'm gonna have to bust my ass to get 180%, which is let's see, how many do I need? I think with the one I need 15 an hour, and the other one I need 16 an hour. Something like that. And you got to bust your ass, especially if the quality. That's just mind-numbing, batshit crazy, fucking going like a crazy man. But and Wednesday was the worst day. Wednesday, the humidity started immediately. Right in the morning, I walked outside. It was real humid inside. I thought, well, sometimes it's cool outside. I walked out, and there was no difference. Normally, there's a difference. Now, I live back in the woods, and you live back in the woods, it's a lot cooler because you got the trees, okay? And that cools shit off. But you don't have that concrete and steel and all that within in cities and even towns. Depending if they have a lot of trees, it's usually cooler. But anyway, yeah, Wednesday started off nasty, and that was like I was like, Jesus friggin' Christ. But I went in and I did it. You know, mental toughness. It's lacking today. A lot of weak little people. I have another channel called Dave's Home Gym where I lift weights and I do reviews on weightlifting related items. And when I first started making the videos, I had this one guy who was a pansy whine about the fact that my block walls, my downstairs, it's block walls and concrete floor. Okay, that's it. I don't drywall. I'm not painting it. It gets really damp down there, and that would be just a waste of time. Okay? And I'm not going to drywall it to make it look good. I love dungeons. I love that desolate, merciless, no compassion feel when you go down there because it's kind of like, it's like you wake up in the morning in 972 and you walk out your door and there are Vikings standing there in your front yard. You know, going. It took you long enough to wake up. Maybe want to go and grab that, and you know, we want to give you a little bit of a chance here, but we don't really give a fuck. That kind of shit. And this guy got all worked up. Got all pedantic because he said the fact that I don't have drywall on my walls is distracting. I tell you, the feminine, weak, pedantic way that males are. What is wrong with you? He should be so embarrassed after typing something like that he goes and pukes. I don't give a damn if you got block walls. I don't give a damn how you're working out. Okay? Maybe you don't want to lift too heavy. Well, right now, since I lost weight, I got to work back up, in weight. So I'm not really lifting that heavy, but don't lift heavy. Why? Because you're scared? Back, I remember watching videos right before next day's squat session, videos of guys where their legs came apart while they're squatting. Why? Because I want to think about that while I'm squatting. I want that to run through my mind. That way I go, okay, you need to stay tight. You need to have proper form, and you need to figure out whether you're being a dumbass or you're using some critical thinking skills. It's like, well, that squat was a grinder. So I don't think I'm going to add any more weight. Or that squat felt pretty good. So I believe I can add 10, 15 more pounds, maybe 20. We'll do the 15 and see what happens. Boom, got it. Ain't going to go to 20. Okay? But yeah, you got that feeling in the pit of your stomach, that knot, because you're feeling your legs suddenly go boing. You see your kneecap stuck on the wall over there. But yeah, weak, 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 weak males. God. And no shame. If I would have given up, say I would have given up Tuesday of last week at my job, that would still bother me. That would bother me, and I would feel like a failure as a man. But I didn't. I went 3 days, and that was great. I mean, it's years ago. I don't know when this was. Back in the '90s, there was a cartoon called Dragon Ball Z, and Goku. These Saiyans, you beat them pretty much to death, and they come back even stronger. It would be like, he has a power of 2,000. You beat him to almost to death, and he comes back with power of 5,000. It's like, what? So I think of that too. I think that, and that happens where you get stronger because of this. This controls everything. I love how people go, well, weightlifting is like 75% mental. 75%? If it's 75%, then you're shit out of luck. It's 100%. You need 100% mental and 100% physical. Okay? And that's even if you're at 50%, because you're at 100% of 50%, aren't you? You know? But mental toughness is just, it's amazing. My back hurts, you know. And I'm not saying, here's the thing. And I'm not talking about like there's a guy at work that has pneumonia. Now, he don't have it that bad where he had to have fluid drained from him, but he has it bad enough that he missed a few days. And uh he got that. Now I'm thinking, I wonder how I could beat that if I get that. See, that's how a man should be. It's like, how can I win against pneumonia? To where when I'm on the other side of it, it's like, yeah, 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 you see that? I went to work with bronchitis. Now, I don't know when it becomes acute, but I had allergies. And the allergies normally last till maybe the mid to the last week of June. Well, these allergies suddenly became a cold, which turned into bronchitis in July, and I did nothing about it until October. And I think that was 1995 or 1996. And people were like all worried about me because I'm. And then I was drinking and I was smoking cigarettes, like a friggin'. Now that there was stupid. That was ignorant. I think back to that day, it's like, you know, drinking and smoking cigarettes, and I got bronchitis. By the time I went, it's like, well, you have acute bronchitis. It's like, well, I know I have something, so I do have a bad habit of just beating the living shit out of myself. But then again, I don't see a problem with that every now and then. Not all the time. Um, I think of people who are always out there trying to get a new piercing. Well, I like pain. No, no, you don't like pain because you were off a few days the other week when you got the sniffles, you know, but you got a, huh, and then you got one here, and then you got them here and here, and you got this thing hanging down here, you know. But when you go, I think I got a cold. Think, I think I go, it's like, there you go. But it's when you have moments of peace and quiet. But during that time, you have moments where you're not sick. But during that time, you do train, you work hard, you put yourself out there, you make it difficult for yourself because you know that there's something coming. And when that comes, you want to have a fair fight and you want to beat that motherfucker, which technically wouldn't be a fair fight since, you trained successfully to whoop its ass. But yeah, that's why I'm a I'm a former Christian, and I got nothing for this. I need a savior complex. I don't vote. I'm more of an anarchist. I like the idea of absence of government and volunteerism, to where if I have a pothole out in front of my house, I can go to Home Depot, Lowe's, or whatever hardware store has asphalt, and I can fix that pothole. I can learn how to do it and do it right. So people ain't going, "Hey, look, it looks like they fixed the pothole," or "Oh, it's a speed bump now." And that's how these assholes do it around it. That's how government does it. And not all the time. There are some places that actually do a good job. You know, people pooling their money at the right time to get their road fixed. I'm not pooling it all the time. It ain't going to be next year. I'm going to do it this year. Okay? Because I helped you out. There were a number of potholes. And me and the neighbors got the potholes. Man, just think of that freedom. And that takes mental toughness too, because it's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard. I think we need more danger. I think we ought to just allow the Indians to go back to being what they were, and we just build cabins out in the woods, and every now and then we got to fend them off. How about that, huh? And if I don't make it, that could be bad. Okay, I don't get me wrong. They had some seriously nasty tortures, but yeah, it's just you know mental toughness is just something that does not you know blah 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 blah. You know, so I think that's all. That's it. I think you got the gist. If you didn't get the gist, and if you got a problem with that, and you want to comment and go, well, you know what I think? Yeah, you're exactly what I'm talking about. You know, maybe what I'll do is when I type in the description is I'll misspell a few words and maybe not use the right punctuation. That way, some pedantic little manlet will go, I think what you need to do is, yes, shut up. Shut up. Okay. So that's it. That's all I got. And until next time, this is Kramer Unstuck.